Hello. Okay. I'm figuring some things out. Okay. Yeah, oh, I'm pressing wrong button. I'm almost done. Yes. Okay. And of course I'm getting notifications on my phone. Because when am I not? I'm so incredibly popular. And I mean that very, very sarcastically. Okay. Anyway, it has been, again, a while since I went live, and I am sorry about that. I will try and make a schedule from now on, since I dropped out of my study anyway. Was it a smart move? Honestly, no clue. Am I feeling better? Mentally, yes. So we're gonna see what we're gonna do about that. At least I have more time for other things now, until I find another study. Does mean more streams for you. Anyway, we're gonna continue with our life, because it was the first game that came to mind, and I really wanted to stream again. So we're gonna do that. And I think everything is set up correctly. I'm gonna check one more thing and then we can start. Okay, I'm sorry, what I wanted to check takes a little bit longer. But my phone, the sounds on my phone were still on. I jump scared myself. Anyway, I think I'm set up now. If my phone doesn't crash the app again. Okay, yeah, we can play. I'm sorry. Took longer than I expected. I'm a very well prepared streamer. Honestly, no clue how many we're gonna do today. We're just gonna continue going left to right with all the memories. But these memories were a lot longer than the ones before. And last time it took me like the entire stream just to complete hangout or hang, whatever. So now we're gonna do errands and see how far we can come. From the moment you woke up, you knew that today was going to be busier than usual. There was a list of errands that needed to be finished before the day was done. First up was visiting one of the biggest farmers markets in the area. It was only open 2 weekends a month during certain parts of the year. It was rare that you and your family were able to attend, so your moms liked to make the most out of every minute of it. And you realized it was not just them feeling that way when you heard a whistle from your left side. Whoa, this is a swanky show. What does swanky mean? What kind of slang is that? Stylish, luxurious, and expensive. Who uses swanky? That sounds no. I'm genuinely curious if people really use that word. It sounds old or made up. Vegetables have never seemed so highbrow. Seriously, they don't mess around with their products.
Isn't that great?
Isn't it exciting? Liz crossed her arms. You could tell she was amused. We couldn't have picked a more perfect trip. It's been too long since we had a true family outing. Her teasing tone said more than she actually did. Your next-door neighbors had joined you this day, and that's what made it a true family outing. The 3 parents laughed approvingly. Out of the corner of your eye, you caught Cove looking at you sympathetically. Thanks, Cove, I need it. Some things never changed, and some jokes never died. You had long accepted that. Have I? I feel like I wouldn't, but you do you. You were excited to check things out, you thought this trip might be fun. Well, the trip wouldn't be a waste of time, since it actually sounds kinda cool to go on a trip. Sorry, I thought I heard a noise. I got distracted. I don't really like marketplaces. So I guess I will go with you thought this trip might be fun. You smiled, trying to imagine how many stalls were set up. You were curious what hidden gems were waiting for you to discover among them. Well, I'm ready to get started. I've got plenty of dishes in mind I could use ingredients for. Before your moms responded to that, they glanced at each other and smiled. Yes, that's a very good idea, Cliff. This place is much larger than it seems. It's difficult to visit each part in a single day.
I got it.
I'm sure we can make a decent dent together at least. Actually, since there are so many of us this time, we could take different sides of the market.
Sounds good.
Divide and conquer, huh? That sounds brilliant. Everyone watched your mom's... Everyone watched your mom's, surprised. No one had considered that an option, but your mom flashed the group a dazzling smile, continuing the thought. Like, yeah, family outing, no, never mind, everyone split up. Though it's a little unfair that there are 4 Hope family members and only 2 Holden here, so I go with you boys to even out the odds.
Okay.
That's fine with me. Cliff scratched the back of his neck and slowly met Cove's stare. They both seemed unconvinced, but weren't sure what to say about it. What are they making a race out of this? Is that it? Don't worry. We will be apart for only a few hours, and then we will have something to talk about at the end of it. Father and son ultimately nodded. This wasn't an argument they were going to win. No.
All right.
Alright. I don't get a point, but also don't mind spending the first part of the trip with True and Ma. Ma clapped her hands together at that. Wonderful! Are the teams ready to go? No. Hey, I didn't agree to anything. Can I be the one who goes with the Holdens instead? I want to know the answer. You looked from your mom to your ma, hopeful that you at least get to explore the market with Cove. He perked up at the suggestion, but then you saw Ma was prancing at your request to leave her group. Sorry, no can do this time, kiddo. Seeing that neither parent was budging, you slumped your shoulders. We won't be slid up too long, right? Ma hooked an arm around you in a little side hug. You grinned.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, True. Taking the lead, Mom walked over towards Cove and Cliff, who were still eyeing her confusedly.
Let's go.
Come on, boys. We're heading out. Sure. Okay. Cove looked at you softly and found himself pulled forward, stopping in front of you. His expression flickered for a moment, hesitant.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Cove. Oh, bye. Suddenly he twitched slightly, his whole body getting stiff. He jerked his gaze back to your mom, and he realized that she had grabbed the hem of his shirt. She gave it a small tug before letting go.
No, no, no.
Time's a wasting, Cove, and I've known you long enough to be aware that you're one to linger. If I don't stop you now, you will only drag your feet on parting ways more. The two of you can survive one morning apart. Probably. We have important shopping to do now. Cove gasped as he felt it was a truly obscene thing to say. I mean, it's relatable, not wanting to be distant from your friends. I can drag that out as well. It's bad sometimes, but it's fun, but it's bad. His face burned red, but it was ignored by him. He spoke with an unimpressed roll of the eyes.
Seriously?
You don't need to literally pull me away from True. I'm not that clingy. Somehow, isn't this the dude that like climbed through my window when I was away? That sounds a little clingy. Like, True was the first person he went to when he came back home. Not even his dad or anything like that. No, the neighbor kid. The friend. Most of the time that's not the first person people go to. But that might be me. Mom sniggered, with a shake of her head. Cove's eyebrows raised over the reaction, and he turned to Ma. She wouldn't meet his eye, as she whistled innocently. Liz smirked ear to ear, and Cove whipped his head towards his dad. Mr. Holden couldn't offer anything more than an apologetic shrug. Yeah, they all agree. It was only then that it dawned on Cove that everyone did think he was that needy. Finally, he dared to face you with a wide, pleading eyes. Don't make fun of Cove. Who said you were allowed to say things like that to him? Cove is totally capable of being independent when he wants to be. There's nothing wrong with being attached. It's nice. Oh, come on, Cove. You know how it is. Silently stare back at him. Imagine searching surprise. You're getting bullied by the families, like in a friendly manner. And you search for support from your friend. And you look at your friend and they just stare back at you. Oh, that's great. Oh my god. I would not like that, to be honest, but that's another story. I would be like, come on. You know how it is. You adored your neighbor, but you find it hard to believe that he didn't realize how often he was like that. Apparently that was the case though. Cove couldn't believe that he was being completely outnumbered. His mouth twisted and he struggled to come up with something to say in his defense. Yeah, well, if you're struggling to find something in your defense, most of the time you're not correct. Like most of the time. Sometimes you just blank out or something like that. So what? That admission had Liz, your mom's, and his dad bursting into laughter. Cove grimaced and walked several steps from the group before stopping. He clearly wanted to move on, so much that he was physically moving away. I want to quickly refresh something. Yeah, okay. You smiled so... Ooh. Hi! I'm doing great. Thanks. How are you? You smiled softly and waved goodbye. When you noticed Cove's mouth pulled into a bent smile of his own and he seemed to feel a bit better. Oh, nice. It's always nice seeing your friends get bullied like that. It is my first playthrough, but I am already at the end of the game. And it's without any of the DLCs, it's only the free version, yes. I am probably going to do another playthrough, online and like streaming and not streaming. I think it's a great game. That's the whole reason I am going to wait a bit that I have enough money, and I'm gonna buy all of them, or at least most of the DLCs, and then I will be playing it again, because I love this game. It's a great game. I like how many options you have. And how it, like, impacts the story you tell. It's not like some other story games that's like, yeah, you can choose, but there's only like one true storyline that you can play and nothing else.
See you later.
See you in a few hours. Take care of yourselves. At that, Mom picked a direction and set out into the market with Mr. Holden and Co. following behind her. Grinning, Ma sent them off with a big wave. Liz gave a daintier goodbye wave herself. I hear the voice like, that's neat. I am also going to get the Baxter DLC, yes. I haven't seen much of the character yet, but I do really like the character at the moment. Which choice do I go with? Felt unsure about it. You had been happy and now you are annoyed. That's definitely put a damper on your good mood. Despite the change in plans, you were still glad to be there. It wasn't what you'd imagined, but that didn't matter. There was a whole market to explore, and you couldn't wait to find some good stuff. When they were gone, Ma cheerily turned towards you and Liz. She put her hands on her hips. Oh, I hope you have a nice dinner. Goodbye, thanks for joining. Do you think there will be any nice ginger around here? We will have to find out. You nodded in agreement, keen to truly getting the trip going. Ma led you both down the busy market. You, some point past browsing, there were only a few stalls you stopped at. You had fun chatting and laughing, pointing out various things to Ma and Liz, and vice versa. At one point, Ma stopped suddenly. She put her hand over her belly and gave a half-hearted smile. I think I should have used the bathroom before we left home, like the two of you responsibly did. I mean, sometimes you cannot time it. I think it's sometimes such a rare, not rare, that's the wrong word. That's me trying to translate a word into English and using the wrong word instead. I think it's weird that, like, oh, if you go to the bathroom before a trip, you should be fine during the trip, because most of the time that's not even the case. Although, it could be. But most of the time, if you don't need to pee before you go and you're on the trip, you just need to go on the trip. You cannot help that. It's weird. Just need to be.
Yes.
Yes, Liz. I will have to visit the ladies' room now. Wait here. Ma craned forward as she struggled to pinpoint the direction she needed to go. She gently brushed your comment away. There's no need to worry about me for this, or waste time standing around. Keep on shopping. Though, actually, I might need help finding my way. Can you please come, Lizzie? I'm being left alone. That's just rude. First we split up the group, now I get left alone. You and your sister had to share a look over that. Why do that, of all things?
Hey.
Ma, if anyone should go anywhere on their own, shouldn't it be you? You're the one needing a detour, and you're the parent here. I like it when the kids play it like in a reverse parent card, like, no, you. Ma giggled, unfazed by the resistance. Liz meanwhile tipped her brow for head up, watching Ma skeptically. Uh-huh. I feel like there's being something planned here. Soon enough, True will have to handle doing these kind of errands on their own. This makes good practice. That's not a good excuse. Oh yeah, no. I'm gonna leave you alone because you need to learn to... I mean, it's one way of teaching things, I guess, but not the way I would go. Hold up, I'm getting messages from a friend that might be important. Okay, messages. Can I respond to after stream? They can wait. If they can't wait, they can come into my chat and just bother me here. What? Ma hooked an arm around Liz and pulled her along.
Have fun.
Have fun. We will find each other again later. This is just what? Okay, first we go as one group. Then the moms decide to split up the group. And then now I get left behind? What are they planning? Excuse me! You stood there stunned. Yes, I am stunned. He watched dumbfounded as they waved into the crowd. They were out of sight within moments, and what started as a group outing rapidly became you, entirely on your own. You were overwhelmed, you felt screwed, and you were done with this whole trip. It felt great being left. No, you thought Mo was being ridiculous, but you didn't really mind. You didn't know what to think. I'm overwhelmed. In that situation, I would be overwhelmed. You weren't prepared at all to be flung out here on your own. Where you were left like a lost puppy? Well, that's just text, Cove. At that point, you had no interest in your mom's plan. If they were going to stick around to follow it through, you were going to do what you actually wanted. Taking out your phone, you quickly pulled up your chat with Cove and said, "Want to shop together, or should I join your group?" Ma and Liz went off themselves and left me. It wasn't long at all before you got a response back. Cove responded in rapid-fire messages. What? Wait. Where are you? You took a survey of your surroundings and then sent him a description of where you were and the path you took to get there. While you waited for his response, you watched all the people moving around and past you. There wasn't a single familiar face. When your phone received a new text, you breathed a sigh of relief. I can speak. Okay, I'm on your way. Great, thanks. Was he also just left alone by his group, or did he just leave his group? Gov couldn't get there fast enough. There wasn't any reason that you could think of why you had to wander around the market alone. You placed your phone back where it belonged and checked around for a nearby stall to kill time at. One pulled your focus. While most stalls were selling various garden-grown foods, this one had an array of homemade fudge. There were even vegan versions of every option. Dang. Cookie and cream. I mean, I'm not a fan of... Ooh, chocolate wipe. This is the thing. It looks delicious. But I know I don't like fudge. Like, it looks delicious, but I know the moment I take a bite, I will not like any of them. Grace drifted elsewhere, please. As fun as getting a peek at all the fudge options, but you weren't enticed enough to buy any. For the next several minutes, you stood there on high alert, trying to spot Cove among the crowds. You broke into a smile when you saw his familiar seam-foam hair stick out above the masses. He hadn't seen you yet, but Cove was walking with purpose in your direction. You noticed he was hefting a couple of bags in his hands. "Cove, over here. He instantly stopped, dead in his tracks. Alert, Cove's head snapped up and his eyes searched the crowd until they landed on you. His whole demeanor brightened at the sight. True. But even from a distance, you could tell his mood shifted again. He seemed serious. He waved through passers-by, awkwardly in an attempt to get through as fast as reasonably possible, nearly stumbling more than once. You went over to him. You couldn't move from where you were. You bounced in place, excited for him to reach your spot. I was in the IKEA yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yes, it was yesterday. I was in IKEA yesterday because my mom wanted some furniture. And I haven't been in the IKEA for years, and I suddenly realized why there were so many memes about getting lost in the IKEA. Like, on one hand, it was not easy to, like, find ways to move around. Like, I had to take shortcuts, and I missed multiple shortcuts, so I had to walk an entire route that I didn't need to. But that's not important. But it was so confusing, especially the showroom. It was just like, everything looked like a room, and I did not know where the exit was. It didn't take too long though. I got lost at one point, but I was fine. I got back within 30 minutes. It only took a moment for him to arrive. But yeah, but the point I was trying to make with that, by the way, crowds are annoying, especially when you're shopping.
Are you okay?
Are you alright? Yeah. What did my mom think about you coming? Yeah, I have no idea. Yours weren't the only ones to just leave. Your mom took my dad before you even messaged. You're kidding. I wish. I can't believe this happened to both of us. This was most definitely planned. They planned it. They had to. But I don't know why. Are they pranking us? Did they just leave us behind at the market? I don't know either. And you meant it. You couldn't fathom what your moms were up to. Cove shook his head, trying to clear his mind.
Well,
I guess things are just up to us now? Yeah. So, his gaze wandered off as if one of your parents might simply appear if he kept checking. And you could tell he was still progressing the situation. He scratched the back of his head, looking sheepish. You still want to go shopping with me? Definitely. I cannot even answer, we just want to. I mean, we did message him, so obviously, kind of, but... Cove beamed, and you were ecstatic at the thought of spending the rest of the trip with him. It was finally time to take some control back over your day.
don't worry about it.
Even if we have to make our own fun, we're gonna have a good trip. Cove smiled at you encouragingly. It made you feel. Oh, more optimistic, a little bit more hopeful. Glad he was there, but still overall unhappy. Nothing. It was a terrible trip anyway. Optimistic, why not? Having him there was already comforting, and now he also seemed determined to improve your day by any means. That had you looking forward to what was coming next. So, where to first? I don't mind coming back the way I came if it's new to you. It's not hard to miss stuff even if you're gone past it. What have you gotten? Cove shoveled his bag around and started pulling them open so you could peek inside each one. You recognized the array of things he picked up around the market. I mostly got typical things I can use pretty easily so far. Nothing super exciting. There were a few cucumbers, some lemons, and sweet potatoes, among other things, that were wrapped up so you couldn't discern what they were. What Cove brought made sense, but it was far from a complete selection. You glanced around at the nearby stalls. Wanna start over there? Cove followed your eye as you pointed to one of the larger stalls. It was filled with several kinds of staple fruits and vegetables.
Come on.
Yeah, let's go. Once a few people finished baying and moved, you and Cove got yourselves directly in front of the shop. There were so many things to pick from. Oh god. That's... you didn't get anything. Let's go over there. No, wait, never mind. Okay, I like apples, cucumbers, carrots, tomatoes, strawberries, potatoes, lettuce, peppers. I'm getting loads of food. Okay, that was everything. The shop owner put your selection together and handed it to you in a couple bags. Happily, you paid and wait for Cove to make his purchase. Ready to go? Cove grinned, satisfied with his new choices. He had added another bag to his small but growing collection. You nodded.
All right.
Okay, now let's go. Together, you and Cove wandered to market on the lookout for any stalls that caught your attention. Cove was walking around with a spring in his step, talking about the various meals ideas he had in mind. After a while, you had to go greater distance to find something of interest. Several of the stalls were selling the same goods. It was only a matter now of which you wanted to buy from. You continued Sorry, I got distracted. I don't know why, but it reset it, I think, and that got my eye. I thought my OBS was glitching, but it's still fine. You continued ambling down the path until Cove disappeared suddenly from your peripheral vision, pulling you away from your thoughts. Cove? You spun around, spotting him some steps back. He was standing still. You followed his eyeline past the crowd. Immediately you knew what grabbed him. Homemade gems and local honey. The stall was glittering with glass jars stacked high, each encased gels of various colors. Cove's eyes were practically sparkling at the sight. His feet automatically began to take him there. Likely without being fully aware he had made an unexplained detour. When you got closer, you were surprised that there were even more varieties than you thought. There were even different honeys based on what type of pollen the bees used. Cove's focus seemed torn between a bottle of blackberry jam and one clover honey. Clover honey? Do clovers even have flower? A flower? Hold up. Clover honey. Yes. Oh, that makes sense. Hold up. Yeah, no. Okay, it's those flowers. I now know how they look. Nice. They look pretty. Did you want some honey? He said just to tease him. I wonder what on earth could you possibly want from this stall? Everything looks really good. You sure you had to... Why would you disapprovingly... No. We're gonna tease him. Dumbfounded, Cove nodded in response. His face was burning red. He grinned, way too pleased with your own joke. You thought that things over for yourself too. Okay, I'm not really a fan of honey, as in my parents switched one of the cookies I used to eat from, I think it was filled with butter. Maybe not filled with butter, but like it used butter. And the biological version used honey instead of butter. Something like that. I do not like them anymore. They found something to make me stop eating those cookies because I don't like the taste at all. I need butter. What is that? Okay, strawberry jam. And that was everything. I'm not a fan of either jam or honey. You paid and the shop owner started putting together your order. It's one thing. Just give it to me so I can put it in a bag. They carefully packed it in a single bag with paper. Thank you very much. Amused, you watched Cove give in and just buy both the clover honey and the blackberry jam. He also went all in, getting spring wildflower honey and plum jam too. The shop owner thoughtfully wrapped each in brown paper to protect them before putting them away in a bag. He handed the purchase to Cove.
Thank you.
Thank you. How many bags is this dude carrying at this point? My arms would just go numb and fall off. You both stepped away from the stall. Cove didn't fail to notice the look you've been giving him since he agonized over his toast toppers. That's one way, well, that's one thing to call them, I guess. Hey, it doesn't go bad for a long time, so why not stock up? I could have chosen one if I wanted to, yes, and that's why you went from choosing between 2 to buying 4. I completely understand you, my dude. Alright, Cove, it would be nice to enjoy snacking on it for a while. As you began to stroll, Cove looked up at the sky. He smiled. It was sort of unexpected, considering all this was technically an errand, and unexpected changes often upset him. Oh, that's a mood. But he was happy, and Cove liked doing this kind of normal thing. Understandable, it can be quite peaceful. And you could tell that Cove especially enjoyed doing these kind of things with you. You was thinking about how comfortable doing this with Cove felt. You're feeling better than you were earlier. Feeling down about how the trip turned out, Cove's attitude annoyed you. No, we're not gonna be angry that he's happy and we are not. We're not gonna be that salty. Let's just, I wouldn't blush. I don't really blush. We're feeling better. It was going to take a while before you could completely move on from being left in the middle of the market, but with Cove, you were happy. You could smile along with him. I'm glad we're so domestic. Wonder what the others are doing right now. I'm glad you're having a good time. Hey, why did you lose your smile? I was saying I was happy you were happy. That's a good thing. You meant it. Cove's good mood was only helping to boost your own, and you were thankful for that.
So?
Are you? Yep. You put an emphasis on the popping P. Cove chuckled at your response. Happy to see a change for the better in your mood. Later, when you spotted a less crowded area, you took a break from browsing. Cove started rummaging through one of his bags, just to check out on how his goods were doing. A smile grew on his face as he went to the next. You chuckled, knowing that Cove wouldn't let anything go to waste. There wasn't a single doubt he was going to eat it all. You held a hand in front of your face as you squint upwards. The sun had moved quite a bit. You've been at the market for a good while now. Neither your feet nor your arms were sore right now, and Cove looked to be doing fine too, but it was something that could be coming. There was a price to pay for this much shopping, and it wasn't always just money. Give me a piggyback ride. I always want those piggyback rides. Could you carry my things? Want me to carry your bags? Want a piggyback ride? I feel like if we give Cove a piggyback ride, we will just fall over. Not gonna lie, I think that would happen. Cove stared at you, unsure, but you just held an hand out expectantly.
What?
You don't have to do that. I bought it, and besides, you're already carrying stuff. That's not gonna change anything. I want to do it for you. Okay, we're going with this answer. I just want to know, want a piggyback ride? Cove gave you an odd look until he realized that you were completely serious. He burst into laughter. Come on, you might not have been as tall as he was, but you had strength. His chuckling died down and you could tell Cove was somewhat considering your offer, but he shook his head. No, I've got all these bags, and I don't really do piggyback rides. My dad was the only one I ever got them from.
Chef of Games is now following.
Thanks for the follow. Okay, we're going with the other one. Oh, whoops. Carry the bags.
What?
I bought it. Okay, you win. Or it's actually kind of a loss you are willing to take. No, it's a win.
Thanks.
Thanks, Drew. Cove bundled up his bags into 2 groups and held them out for you to take. But, hold up. Feeling you have to cough mid-sentence makes talking a lot harder. You accepted, but had to temporarily put all the bags down on the ground. He chuckled, watching you shuffle the bags around, so each arm wasn't carrying too much.
Thank you.
Thanks for doing this, really. It's nice of you. No problem at all. I will just temporarily die at the end of this trip. Standing up straight with the bags, you were all set to get going again. You grinned, happy to do this. With that, you and Cove continued your trip through the market together. Ma and Mom had both texted you during the trip, though only to say that they hoped you found some good stuff and that they see you later. There was no answer on where they went or why. They just left us alone in the middle of the farmers market and were like, you have fun on your trip, we're leaving you. I would just walk away from the from like the market entirely. I would just be done. You and Cove continued to wind your way through the bustling market, the list of outstanding items steadily shrinking while bags grew heavier. Eventually, Cove realized that he hadn't checked his phone in a while. The two of you came to a stop in a nearest a clove, where you'd be out of the steady stream of people pursuing the stalls, and he pulled out his phone. Cove pulled out his phone. You watched his eyes dart over the screen as he would read the waiting messages. Not important, I can reply to that later. He mumbled his verdict under his breath. Then Cove's face scrunched up with confusion.
Huh?
Wait, I got a message from my dad. Listen to this. Cove, I wasn't part of the plan. I didn't know what was going on when I left with Drew's mom. Where are you? Sent that ages ago. I didn't dare to come in. He sent another one since then. Says he hopes I'm alright and that he's not bothering me. What is the plan? I'm confused. Newsman says everyone's going to the parking lot soon and we can meet up there. He lowered his phone, Eisenhowered. The same conclusion that was settling on you had landed on Cove as well. So it was on purpose. Obviously it was on purpose. It was pretty clear something was going to happen the moment the moms were like, let's split the group up, because that's a great idea for a family trip. The crowd of people passing by stayed as noisy as ever, noisy as ever, and sharp contrast to the silence that had fallen over you and Cove. He was rubbing the screen of his phone against his shirt, wiping away dust and dervish. He continued scrubbing the screen long after anything could have remained. The action of a poor substitute for pushing away the awkwardness of the moment. The shock was too fresh for you to even know yet how you felt. Yeah, I mean, in real life I would have been angry. This is not real life, so I feel alright about it. Oh, he really looks awkward. I didn't even look at his face yet. There was no malice behind the plot. Says who? Who says there's no malice behind the thing? The leaving behind? Me. How dare they? You were quite sure of that. Of course. Your moms must have had their reasons for doing this, and it hadn't harmed you in any way. How are you going to explain this? They can be really weird, huh?
Are you okay?
Are you alright? No. His voice was gentle. Yeah, really. That's good. Abandoning us without any warning wasn't really a cool idea. Even if they meant well. Which they probably did. He looked you straight in the eyes. Not making a big deal out of this is nice. I'm not exactly thrilled, personally, so if you do want to complain to me, you can. I don't have anything to complain. Okay, I'm disappointed. It can be kind of annoying. You kind of annoying. You're annoying. That's not what he expected to hear. I think he wanted to hear something like, oh yeah, no, I don't like the parents or something like that. Not, you're annoying. I don't have anything to complain about. Nothing? Ever? Oh no, I was talking about this trip. Don't generalize this. I don't know. His mouth hung open and then he laughed.
No way.
Come on, you've gotta have plenty of stuff to complain about just from those stunts I've pulled myself, let alone what happened today. He cracked a grin at that. Despite yourself, he could certainly be a troublemaker when he wanted to be, but he could also be so kind. After a moment, he stepped away from you, face turned. Cove closed his eyes and took a deep breath. His brow creased, then furrowed deeper into a scroll, his arm tightly coiling together. So they did do something stupid. I knew it. His voice had taken on an exaggerated quality, but it was truly distinguish it from Cove's typical speaking tone. Was the abundance of rage. I'm created English, I know. This is such a chore. Parents are so dumb. Why do people have to go places with family members anyway? I hate them. Okay, that's relatable. Why do I have to go places? Why do I have to be social? Who decided this was a good idea? Okay, I didn't press too many times. You got it instantly. It had been years since the boy with the bowl-cut hair had been in town for the summer, but Cove had never forgotten. To this day, he continued to unleash his impersonation whenever the moment felt right. Sometimes she wondered if the act had grown more exaggerated over the years, or if the kid really was always that ridiculous. I would play along. This kid's never gonna live it down. No. Why would this kid ever live it down? That kid was just a little gremlin. Like, he was mean. I don't know if he's that the entire game, but like the moments I've seen him, he was just mean. That's a fair thing to be angry about. Let's play along. Whoa, what's wrong with you?
No!
I'm not wrong. Actually, if you were as smart as me, you'd know that. Cove gave you a lip-slight smile, letting the joke rest for now. Come on, we should probably go meet up with the group. No, I want to keep continuing this play, it sounds fun. Yeah. You didn't dally any longer, slipping back into the crowd, making your way towards the entrance of the farmers market. It didn't take long to reach the parking lot. Your parents, Mr. Holden, and Liz were already waiting there, and they waved at you both as you approached. Your own family seemed to be in pretty good moods, in contrast to Mr. Holden. He stared at Cove with open concern as you got closer. Hey, bud. Hey, True. How are you doing? We'd be doing better if we hadn't been abandoned in the farmers' market by our families. You saw your mom's frowning at this response, Ma glancing from Cove to Mom with blinking eyes. Just because True is really laid back doesn't mean you can just leave them out of your plans and expect them to go with it every time. I am so laid back. Ma hung her head ashamed, and Mom had a hand pressed to her cheek. You could tell that they were quickly regretting their scheme.
I am so sorry.
Her words were full of emotion. Mom squeezed Ma's arm. We were trying to make the errands more of a trip, less of a chore. Ma nodded. We didn't think you, Cove, and Liz wanted to be stuck trudging around the market with your parents all day. So the best conclusion was to just leave us alone in the middle of nowhere in the farmer's market. How is that the next step? I would think the next step would be like, oh, I don't know, just split up in little groups from the beginning, just send True and Cove split from the beginning. Especially not in the summer. But you are always very thoughtful and don't like to leave your moms behind, so we did it ourselves. I would have easily left you behind if you gave me the choice. Okay, that sounds really mean. I didn't mean it like that. So we did it ourselves. It was only going to be for the market, not the other stops, I promise. Still, you're right. We could have just told you and let you make your own call. I'm really sorry. Neither of us meant to upset you.
I'm really sorry.
All gas, no brakes, and we should have known better. Sorry. At least they apologize. That's better than most of the parents. That's me too, after pulling her urgent potty break stunt, if that helps. I went off to do my own shopping, as it seems they planned.
Sorry.
Sorry I didn't check back in with you. I wasn't thinking and just tried to blow it off. You quietly took in their stories of what happened over the side. Cove was talking to his dad. Thanks for telling me something was up, though I feel bad for missing the warning when you sent it.
You're welcome.
It's no trouble, sport. I learned my lesson about making surprise plans. Besides, I've got to register every thought that wandered through his head by you first, right? That seems a little bit extreme. I don't want to know everything you think, most of it, maybe. Don't do something stupid, that's all. That sounds about right, yeah. Cove smiled at his dad. Mr. Holden laughing clapped Cove on the back.
Not bad.
Whoa, we're really being outplayed today. You realized you hadn't been the only onlookers to the Holden's moment. Your moms were exchanging rueful looks. Liz had her arms crossed over her chest, patiently watching it all unfold. Yes, looks like it. We better find some way to catch up.
In that case...
Maybe we can do True's chores for the next week? Mom jabbed Ma's on the shoulder. You might be onto something. True, how do you like the sound of that? They looked at you hopefully. Oh, that's so sweet! That's so sweet. I mean, I'm still kind of pissed they just left me, but kind of sweet. Sounds good to me. Good, we're serious. And at the very least, we can make sure everyone stays together for the rest of the stops we're making today. You all nodded at the suggestion.
Yes.
We won't let you down. We will be the best sheepdogs ever, guarding the flock and catching any strays.
Funny.
We could at least be shepherds. You chuckled, your mood lifted in spite of the bumpy morning. It was going to be alright. How is it morning? It seems like it's like late after... No, not even late afternoon. It seems like it's like late in the evening. What do you mean we only spent the morning doing that? You turned to the entrance of the farmer's market for one final glance, pressing it into your memory under this new light. You thought on what you'd picked up at the market and how you were going to enjoy it later. Some things you could only get from local suppliers like this. That was another perk about coming along to the market today. Cove then slided up next to you, and an eager smile on his face. You could tell from his expression that he was up to something, not you too. Why is everyone up to something? Isn't that like the whole thing that you shouldn't do? Be up to something?
I
know it wasn't part of the plan for the day, but nothing that happened really was. So, you cooked up a scheme of your own? He laughed. Anyway, well, I sort of picked something out with you in mind. You held a hand to your chest, staring at Cove as he explained further.
I mean...
Since your moms decided we should shop separately, I figured I could use the time to get you something. Just a little surprise. Oh, that's sweet. I wouldn't even think of that. He reached into one of his bags and retrieved one of the wrapped up objects. You accepted the unexpected present, and he looked on excitedly for you as you tore off the paper. It was a glass bottle of cola soda. You didn't need to taste it to know that it would be nice. It was a boutique product. It was heavy in your hands, the container and a smart metal cap reaffirming the quality. Even the label, constructed from the coarse paper rather than a flimsy sheet of plastic, was distinctive. You were practically bouncing in anticipation as he smiled sweetly at your reaction. It's not a big deal, but I just thought you might like it. I would honestly like it, I think. Soda is delicious most... Oh wait, it's American soda. Honestly, I wouldn't know then. But most of the time, soda is great. You're always getting me things, you should get it. Thank you. You're so wonderful. Thank you. You were touched that Cove wanted to treat you to something nice. Whenever you were physically together or not, you were clearly always on his mind and in his heart. That sounds so cheesy. Oh my god, I did not expect that. Liz clapped her hands together, with the air of a teacher calling for attention. Okay. Since the other adults aren't acting like grown-ups, the rest of us are going to have to pick up the slack. It's time to get back on schedule and continue with the rest of the errands. Playtime is officially over. Mal laughed while Mr. Holden grinned awkwardly. Mom hung her head in an excoriated display of mocked defeat. Kids are rough, and I can't even call them kids anymore. I feel like you can call your own children kids any day. Even if they're like 40. Liz tooted with an amusement at her mother. Cove shrugged, staying a neutral observer, but the small smile on his face revealed that he was enjoying the conclusion. You laughed, glad that everyone was getting along. That's right, we're all grown-ups now. I am very grown-up. I'm a very adulty adult. Yes. I'm very responsible. With that, your trip to the farmer's market was closed. It was time to move on. There were too many of you for one car, so you and Cove had wound up in Mr. Holden's car on the way over. You figured it made sense to do the same for the next leg of the journey. You sat next to Cove in the back. After buckling in, Cove leaned back in his seat, letting himself be cushioned by the headrest. I never use the headrest in a car. Do people actually use that? Well, actually I do, but it's only if I'm trying to sleep. Otherwise, I don't. I find those things uncomfortable. Once he shifted a little, he appeared to have found the perfect angle of maximum comfort. He gazed out of the window, looking suitably content with the world. You followed suit, hunkering down in your seat and looking out of the window as the car pulled away from the lot. You knew Cove well enough to spot the signs of when he was physically present but mentally elsewhere. The way he would fall quiet, staring without seeing, the long blinks, all of which he was doing right now as he looked at nothing in particular. You closed your eyes as you pulled up the resolve to speak. You were miles away for a second. What were you thinking about? Cove idly rubbed his face. Honestly, I was just thinking about how nice it is to know you. It, makes life better and everything. Oh my god, this has gotten so cheesy. I did not expect this to be so cheesy. Though, he was turned away from you. His eyes were round and sincere. Well, that is a new revelation, but today was another reminder. I'm lucky. That's so sweet. I would go with that, so sweet. My friends and I have one of my friends and I realized a few days ago, or a few days I think, that, oh, we have known each other for 9 years at this point. And we were just like, we're old, but we had other realizations along that point, and we're like, oh, that's so sweet by most of those things. Also with other friends. He peeked at you from the corner of his eyes, still too shy to look at you directly. Oh. You smiled at him affectionately, electing an equal caring smile from Cove in return. You felt content, secure in your relationship with Cove. Wait, it's a soda. Who in their right mind would open a soda? I want to know. We're gonna save the drink. I want to know if it explodes in the car. Twist off the cap and brought it to your mouth. It doesn't even Oh, okay. I cannot even open a normal bottle or can or whatever. It will just fizz over the bottle, or at least, yeah, it will just leak everywhere. Let's just put it that way. Don't give me a soda while moving. Terrible idea. It was clearly special. You intended to make sure you gave it the attention it deserved. Exactly. You spent the rest of the day completing the remaining errands, all together as a group. Yeah, independence it can be nice. It sounded nice. It might not have come from under ideal circumstances, but it had provided you with an opportunity to spend time making your own choices. You felt that you had risen to the challenge, did we? Oh, that was quite quick. Nice. That's safe. This one? Yes. Okay, let's continue. I think I can do one more. Depends on how long talks is. I'm planning on doing all of it, but maybe I need to leave earlier. We will see. Another pleasant summer day was drifted by. Your daydreams were chasing each other, none sticking around long enough to become a firm plan. But you really didn't mind that right now. Tapping worked its way into those dreams. Focusing more, you realized it was coming from your window. A grin pops on your face as the thought it had been waiting all day for this moment. Although, okay, that explains more. Heading to the window, you could see Cove outside. Okay, wait, we're gonna read this first and then I'm gonna say what I wanted to say. His habit of climbing this way was really was a true Covism. He'd rather scale your house than wait the couple extra minutes for you to come down. I mean, kind of impatient. What if I'm changing in my room? But okay. What I wanted to say, how did the parents not notice this habit? Head out to hand. He offered Cove a hand to help him. Once he was mostly inside, he took it to help steady the last bit of his entrance. He needed the help, despite how many times he'd done this. No, he's probably just acting. He probably can do it just
Hey.
fine. Hey, True. Hey to you. But like, for real, how have the parents not noticed the dude climbing through the window every single time? Like, okay, first time I kind of got it, second time, meh. But at one point, the parents must notice that this dude is just climbing through the window like weekly at this point, I believe. At least during the summer. I think my mom should have invested in some bigger windows. Cove laughed at that and took one last look at this exclusive entrance. He hummed with a chasing look on his face. It'd make my life easier, that's for sure. Maybe just take the door like a normal person. Is it really that hard to just walk to the door? Is that really such a hard thing to do? Or like wait those couple of minutes, I guess. Cove's voice came out quietly, with a strangely pleased smile on his face. Did something happen? Cove opened his mouth to answer, only to have your phone vibrating cut him off. How does a vibrating phone cut someone off from talking? Like, if it's like music or any other noise, I can understand that. Vibrating though? You can just easily talk over that. I'm speaking from experience. I have missed several phone calls because of that. You both turned to where it rested a little further up on your bed. Especially if it's on a bed that's like really soft. How do you hear that so well? It was still face down, so you couldn't tell who was calling. It's okay. Your attention shoot back to Cove. He smiled at you awkwardly.
Don't worry about it.
Go check. It could be important. I will wait. Thanks. You shuffled towards and scooped the little noisemaker into your hand. You flipped it over and checked the caller ID. It's Miranda. Oh, you should answer it. I want to say hi too. With a nod, you accepted the call and set it to speaker. Hi, Miranda. Hi. There was something off about her tone. Cove met your grace and saw the same confusion in his expression.
Have you heard from Terry?
Have you heard from Terry at all? Or did you hear about her from Cove? Huh? No? She hasn't called me, but Cove is with me right now. Hey. Oh, hi Cove. Is that what you were going to say? He shook his head no, before realizing that it wasn't a good enough answer when one person couldn't actually see it.
No.
No, Terry hasn't called me today either. Is something wrong? At that, Miranda couldn't hold herself together any longer. Oh my god, what happened? The muffled sobs from the other side of the line were unmistakable. Terry doesn't like me anymore. If she ever did. What happened? What kind of friendship drama did I miss? What? That doesn't sound right. You're probably her best friend out of all of us. Yeah, why don't you think that? She sniffled, and there was a pause, but you could hear her shift her phone to the other hand. Terry was here the other night, watching movies with me. We were up super late. She realized her parents probably went to bed, so they couldn't pick her up. My mom and dad were definitely asleep then. That works early. I tried telling her it was okay to just spend the night and she could text her parents what happened. But Terry really didn't want to. You glanced at Cove. He looked equally unsure as you about where this story was going. It didn't sound like a friendship ending situation. Either they had a fight about if she had to stay or not, or she just left and disappeared, but that you should probably call the cops and... Okay, wait, no. You maybe calling your friends first is smart, because if she's there and just was ignoring you, you're not calling the cops for no reason. That's kind of smart. I suggested things to make it easier if she was nervous. Like, she could sleep by herself in my room while I stayed somewhere else. Yeah? And I said we didn't have to sleep at all. We could have kept watching movies until one of our parents woke up. I wouldn't have minded. I know not everyone can do sleepovers, but Terry wouldn't even tell me what was really wrong, or what I could do to help. I thought we could tell each other anything. I guess I was wrong. Did she stay in the end?
No.
No. We got too loud in the kitchen and my dad woke up. He offered to drive her home and he heard what was wrong. She texted me to apologizing for my dad having to do that when he needed rest. And that was it. She isn't talking to me anymore. You could hear every bit of the tears and heartbreak in Miranda's voice. This continued to be a shock for your neighbor. But Cove recovered and spoke gently. I'm really sorry.
I mean...
There's no way Terry wanted to make you feel this bad, or that she's just done with your friendship because of this. Miranda sniffing continued. You hoped she had plenty of tissues handy. Is that a normal thing to think? I would just hope my friend stopped crying. I feel like that's the better option, right? Whatever. It will be okay. I hope Terry's alright. It's really weird that she reacted like that. It's no big deal, honestly. I feel like all of these are kind of bad, but in these kind of situations, everything you say will just be bad. Maybe slightly speaking from experience. Let's just put it, it's weird that she reacted like that. You couldn't wrap your mind around it. This seemed so unlike Terry, and maybe that's why it was bothering Miranda so much. Miranda's voice sounded a little bit more collected after finishing her story. But you knew that the crying was far from being done. I thought she had reached out to one of you by now. Maybe she's not talking to anyone. Yeah. Sorry for bothering you and Cove about this. Hey, we're here for you.
Right.
Right. You can tell us things. Thank you. Her shaking voice finally conveyed a little optimism, or at least relief that she wasn't dealing with this entirely on her own.
Is that all right?
If you do hear from her or anything, could you let me know if she's alright? We can. Thanks. Let's talk later, okay? Bye. 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 How many times do I have to say bye? That really didn't seem like an especially productive point to end the call. Though you weren't sure where to go from there. Looking to Cove, his face seemed as lost as yours. With no alternative, you hung up and put your phone back on the bed. Cove crossed his arms, a frown creasing his face. He began to pace the length of your room, clearly trying to put pieces together in his head. In a way that made sense. I would be worried, I guess. It doesn't sound nice. Biting the inside of your cheek, you started at the ground. Hearing Miranda so distraught like that was not easy. And what about Terry? The uncertainty was tearing you up. The empty state of your head before learning this was not helping you now. You couldn't put two thoughts together, and flopping back on the bed, you started into space. We should probably try calling Terry. Cove's voice managed to drag you back to some grounding. He'd stopped pacing, but you still saw a protruded look on his face. Yeah, I'm worried about her too. You bounced up and moved to his side, ready to act on whatever plan you two could come up with. Cove started with the easiest thing. He pulled out his phone and called Terry. Cove let it ring, and ring, and ring, and ring. Terry didn't answer. There wasn't even an option to leave a voice message. I feel like something happened. He turned to you as if for some lifeline. Could you try calling? I'm gonna send a text just like, hey, I was trying to reach you. Call me. Or something. Yeah. You took up your phone once more. Unfortunately, after another set of intermittent rings, the line went dead. No answer. No voicemail. Hanging up, you saw Ko visibly deflate. He rubbed his arms, eyes distant, openly struggling with the whole affair. I don't like this at all. They're fighting. We barely know anything, and we're supposed to just wait and see? Oh, that frustration is relatable. Despite it only being a minute since he texted Terry, Cove checked his phone again. He was desperate for progress, for something, and you frowned as you watched him. They're gonna get over it, you know? Cove stared hard at the screen, as though he was trying to will a new message to appear. As your words sank in, he harshly stared at you, not impressed with your response. He continued to glare didn't stop you from completing the thought. We know them. Whatever is wrong with Terry, we will get past it. Closing his eyes, he took a deep breath, and then sighed it. His shoulders dropped down with it. Yeah, you're probably right. That's the spirit. Cove was still gripping his phone, with both hands as though it might fly away if he let go. He looked to you with almost painful earnestness. Should we... What do we even say if we do hear from one of them? His pacing resumed, as he attempted to answer his own question. We should probably tell them to talk to each other instead of only us. Maybe? He slowly came to another halt, like a gear winding down. You wonder why you always have to come up with things. No. We should find out Terry's side of the story. Maybe it's just, you know, the classical trope of miscommunication. Nothing could be done until you knew what she thought of this. That much was certain. Cove nodded slightly in agreement. For several minutes you both remained there in silence, drowning your thoughts. Eventually Cove turned around. I'm gonna text Terry that we already know what's going on. Maybe it should be an easier time talking to us because she wouldn't have to pretend or explain. Didn't say it was alright to admit she talked to us. I mean... Part of me is like, yeah, you shouldn't just say that. That feels wrong to go like, oh yeah, no, I know this thing happened. Talk to me. That doesn't feel like a good thing to do. However, wait, I am making the choices. Dang it. I have limited options. Let's go with that one. Hey, Rainbow. Nice to see you. How have you been? Oh. Yeah, right. I was going with, Miranda didn't say it was right to admit she talked to us. I'm just tired and annoyed a lot recently. That's fair. I was also really tired for a long while, that's why I streamed a little less. I'm getting better, so I hope I will be able to stream more often. Miranda called you asking if Terry had opened up about it, and then she told us about what happened in private. She did not know if Terry would be okay with any of that. That's a valid point. I did not stop and think about that one. I need a Cove in my life. Just someone to tell me what I'm doing wrong. That would be so nice. Okay. I'm pressing wrong buttons. Hold up. Honestly, personally, I would have no clue what I would do in this situation. I'm very bad with, like, friends fighting. And, yeah. I'm getting just as uncomfortable with 2 in-game friends fighting as I am with new friends fighting. Yeah, I know the new DLC is coming out. I'm quite excited. I don't know how quick I will be with playing them, since, yeah, I'm not really... I don't really have the money at the moment, and I want to kind of buy all the DLCs at once. But I do know about the new DLC. I'm quite happy about it. Besides, I'm not really that far... Yeah, I'm quite far into the game, but even with a new DLC, it would be a while before I would be able to play it. It doesn't make it fine to do that to her. Terry isn't talking to Miranda at all. If you want to tell Terry, we could still talk to Miranda about it first. No, Baxter DLC.
I get it.
It is a Baxter DLC. It does look really interesting to play. We could, but if Miranda wanted it to be a big secret, then she should have just said that. And if she does want to hide it, I don't think we should. That's fair. I really need, like, a cove in my life that just goes like, this is maybe what you think, but let me give you a new view on things, because this sounds so smart and I could have used this kind of knowledge with some of my friends. Not really fights, but things they wanted to do, I guess. Let's put it that way. You're being really mean right now. No. Why isn't there an option with no, wait, you're right? I feel terrible now. Being thanks doesn't mean it's okay to act like this. There is not the option I want, so it's kind of just pick your poison at the moment. You felt way too overwhelmed to know what to say next. Let's go with that one. That's the best option. Just stay quiet. Most possibly the worst option, but let's just ignore that. Upset, your voice got caught in your throat. As your thoughts were pulled in too many directions, Gove took your silence as a go-ahead. Gove's fingers worked furiously, yet carefully. He was giving his full attention to his words. You slided up next to him and looked, trying to watch what he was writing. Gove rapidly typed out, "Hey, Troy and I want to talk to you. Miranda told us what happened. Please reply back." And sent. It was done. Well, we will just have to see what happens now. Quiet, you felt nervous. I wish you weren't so concerned with everyone else's feelings but mine. That's just... Why are so many of these options sound so bad? I picked the wrong route, whatever. It definitely be alright, Cove. Things are okay. Yeah, hopefully she get back to us pretty soon. Why couldn't you have just left it alone? Great. Can we do something else now? You're being dramatic. Why do they sound so mean? Maybe that's just the way I read them, but that sounds mean. It will definitely be alright, Cove. Things are okay. Let's just go with the nice option. You gave your best smile in the hopes of cheering him up. He gave a weak smile of his own in return. I hope so. I really do. A small noise escaped his lips. All the frustration at the situation crumbled away from his face as he spoke softly. Thanks, Drew. I'm glad it's not just me with all this happening. Yeah, okay. I wouldn't have mind, like, a friend in these situations. But most of the times it was just all in one friend group. Not just you. Some of them do say, yeah, okay, I'm glad it's not just me reading them out. That's what this game. Either there's just like too many options I want to pick, or there is like 0 options I want to pick, and I'm just like, I have to choose to continue the story. But this all sounds very rude and mean, and I do not know what to pick. Thanks, Drew. But I already read that one, my mistake. Cove took one last look at his phone and then put it away. His effort at a smile was meager, but earnest.
It's okay.
We can just forget about this for a while. Terry will talk to us when she wants to. Just kick him out? What do you mean I'd like to be alone for a while? Could you leave? You smelled just a little bit. Sounds good to me. And you meant it. Exhaling some of your own concerns away, the last thing you wanted was to fight with Cove. Silence stretched on in what felt like hours, but it was likely wasn't that long, before there was a knock on your bedroom door and Mom peeked in. Just wanted to check in on you. Oh, Cove! When did you get here? I don't know, maybe a few minutes ago when he broke into my window because apparently we do not have any cameras or something. When she saw you were there, she opened the door all the way. Ma was standing there as well. She slipped past her wife to come inside your space. Well, I've been playing the game more. You've been... Wait. But do you mean you have even more hours in the game at this point? Okay, hold up. I'm gonna see the text messages. Not the text messages, the messages you sent last time. You now have 478.5. Last time you had... How have you... You had 437 hours. That's 40 hours in the time. Oh my god. You play this game a lot. You must really like it. Not in a judging way. I have played a lot of games in the meantime, so I can understand spending a lot of time in one game. I'm gonna be honest, probably the only reason why I go kind of slowed through this game is because I'm streaming it. And then I talk and all that kind of stuff. So I cannot just speed my way through it. It's my most played games as well. I would say my most played game at the moment is Sims, with like 2,000 plus hours into the game. But I don't think that one really counts because I've been playing since the game came out, The Sims 4, and that's like years. So it's not really that bad yet. What's going on? Okay. It's just Miranda called earlier. She and Terry are fighting, but none of us know what's going on with Terry. Your parents exchanged a meaningful look, though its meaning was lost on you.
I'm so sorry.
That's too bad. I'm sorry there's trouble with your friend, sweetie. Is there anything we can do to help? Out of the corner of your eye, you saw Cove rub his arm awkwardly, unable to add anything. There's only 3 games I've not played so yet. Wait, you mean as like in your library of games, or... What do you mean there's only 3 games you have not played yet? If you've played all the games on the roll, that's a bit much on Steam. You mean from this creator or what? I'm really confused which of 3 games you haven't played yet. That I got. Okay, yeah. Oh, I have bought quite a few games for like streaming. That's 1 that I haven't played yet. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can go on a while. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I got like 14 games that I bought that I still haven't played yet. And the collection just continues to grow because I play the same games over and over again instead of just expanding. The corner of your eye, you said it, but no, we are just waiting to see if Terry calls or texts or if Miranda does. Well, we can at least help you take your mind off things while you're waiting. Oh, what are we gonna do? Another great idea, Lani. We can get the whole gang together for some quality time. Sounds fun. Mom gave you a soft smile and added, this will be good, especially since it might help make up for what happened at the farmer's market. Yeah, it'll be wonderful. I will go see what Liz is up to right now. Only got 14 games on Steam. Okay, I have a bit more. I honestly don't know how many games I have the amount of games I haven't played is around the amount of games that you have. So I think that's clearly. I have 66 games in my favorites. And I got like 53 in like other. Although most of these games are like free or I got them from my brother's account. Which I don't have access to anymore, but if they were free they were just added to my account, I think. But yeah, I have quite a few games. I mean, I am a streamer for a reason. I love playing games. It's kind of logical. Although I have friends who own like way more games than me. Excited, she flirted her few steps away and then stopped. She pivoted on her heels and raised a single finger, flashing a big smile at Cove.
It's no trouble.
And of course, Cliff will be welcome too. Knowing your family was already there for you, that couldn't be underestimated. In fact, it meant everything to you and your moms cared so much. I really appreciate this. Thank you. Yeah, thanks. That's nice of you.
You're welcome.
You're both very welcome. Don't sweat it. Not so, kiddos. Leave things to us. Just relax and we will call you when it's all together. That's so sweet. I like the moms. They are so thoughtful. Even if they make mistakes. Like, everyone makes mistakes. People are human. But like, it's so sweet. They are so sweet. You nodded and your moms disappeared for now. Springing into action for the impromptu get-together. You flopped down on your bed, feeling like you could sink into it and disappear. Cove, meanwhile, took a spot on a chair off to the side. I see like one single chair. A chair, and the chair is possibly the only chair in the entire room. You sighed at the same time, and Cove's mouth pulled into a bent smile at that. He gave his phone another quick check, and his eyebrows furrowed. Still nothing? Yep. This is crap, huh? Yep. Cove chewed on the inside of his cheek, as if to mimic the stress that was clearly eating him away at him. That sounds uncomfortable. Although, I might have just chewed on my cheek and it's like doesn't hurt. It doesn't feel like anything. Meh. Cove, what's wrong? What's really wrong? One disagreement doesn't make you act like this. And that got a pointed pause in his movement. Cove was carefully trying to put his thoughts together. He spoke in a fragile voice. When people you care about, when they're unhappy with each other, there's nothing you can do. At least when you're in a fight yourself. You have some responsibility, some control over it all. Oh, he got trauma from when his parents broke up. That makes sense. I wish
So...
it didn't happen, but that isn't possible, so... Oh well, I guess. His attempt at giving a nonchalant shrug after that was pitiable. Yeah, it makes me feel horrible too. True. Not the name of my character. Okay, I was like, why is my character saying their own name? That doesn't make sense. True, but you're right, that can't be helped. It's whatever. Other people can do what they want, right? I mean, yeah, but you also want... You don't want your friend group to fall apart. That sucks. In your lap, your hands momentarily curled into fists. This kind of powerlessness, it wore you down. You looked to Cove and were reassured by his understanding nod. There was a question you had to ask. Is it because of what happened with your parents? Cove ran a hand through his hair, a strange smile spreading across his lips. For him, this panic struck close to his heart. Just as quickly as it had come, his smile was gone, lost amidst his faraway gaze. Yeah, you got it. It's like my parents. Despite knowing him for so many years, Cove had never spoken of the years before he moved to Sunset Bird, before his parents separated, in any detail. He whispered his thoughts distantly, almost unconcerned with whenever you could hear them or not. They used to fight all the time. I think they get along when I was a baby. I mean, they had to have wanted to be with each other at some point, but when I was old enough to remember anything, it was already bad. I mean, yeah, they might have loved each other or wanted, like he said, at one point, but you don't want to know how many couples are like, let's have a child to fix our relationship, because putting more stress on the relationship is the best way to go. There was always something wrong, and I could never help. I just wanted them to be happy. You tried to imagine your moms breaking up, and the very idea scared you, but Cove had endured. That for real? I'm sorry. True.
Don't worry about it.
It's okay. Despite that revelation, Cove gazed reassuringly at you. It's not like that anymore. Things are so different now. I don't even really think about it. Again, the sorrow reassessed itself. When he continued, you could barely hear him. Though, I guess it's pretty obvious I haven't forgotten either. You tried to smile at him. You crossed the room and looked at him. You went over and placed a hand on his shoulder. You hugged him. Hugs. I love hugs. Physical contact is great. I love cuddles and hugs. You crossed the room, picking up a little bit of speed, and Cove's eyes widened. He shot out of the chair and stood waiting for you with a nonplussed look. When you collided with him, wrapping your arms around his middle and knocking the air out of his lungs, all mystery was gone. Cove squeaked.
Oh.
He returned a gesture longingly. Exhaling, you pressed your cheek into the warmth of his chest. The tension stuck inside you released like a river flowing into the ocean that was Cove. The firmness of his hug told you Cove didn't plan on letting go anytime soon. You both needed the comfort and closeness for just a little bit longer. And he finally did. The two of you took the seat again, but this time side by side on your bed. Today was a lot, huh? Yeah, it was. Lean against him. More physical contact. Yippee! Resting the side of your head onto his shoulder, you glanced up at his face. Cove watched you affectionately. In a gentle gaze, you finally felt like everything was going to be okay. No matter what happens, we can make it work. His mouth pulled into a bent smile at that. You chuckled, resting your head comfortably back on his shoulder.
Me too.
I think so too. And for a while you stayed like that. A comfortable quiet fell between you, and the sun fell with it. The warming calm ended with Cove gasping sharply. You spun, half expecting to find him nursing an injury. How would he... Wait, how would that make sense? How would he have gotten injured? I just assumed it was the phone, but instead you found him staring straight ahead. Like, I just assumed it was the phone. How would he have injured himself just sitting? I know I am clumsy. I pulled some muscles yesterday and I have some bruises from the IKEA. I'm that clumsy. I just cannot carry things, but sitting still is a new level of being clumsy. What?
Oh my god.
I think my phone just vibrated. See, I told you it was the phone. That's like the logical conclusion. Check it out. Right. He patted his pockets, fumbling in his panic, and yanked the phone out. The force of the action nearly catapulted the device out of his grip entirely, but he caught it just in time. His eyes honed in on the screen. It's Terry, thank God. She says she's sorry? He looked back to you, eyes wide, and his nerves started to fray once more. What should I say? I don't know. Give it a second. I need to think. Tell her to call us. Ask her what's going on. Ask if she's talking to... Ask what's going on. That seems like the logical option. Ask what's going on. Hear both sides of the story. Okay. He flashed you a shaky smile as he began to type. He suspected that had a similar thought himself, but wanted the reassurance of a second opinion. Cole's phone buzzed nearly as soon as the message was sent. Ah, it's Terry again. She's talking to us. She asked what Miranda said, but wait. You lean in, watching the conversation unfold on Cove's screen.
Right.
She's gonna actually call. Cove held his breath as she waited. Though he was good with people, he'd never been at ease managing conflict. His phone rang out. Cove jammed the answer button. He switched the phone into speaker mode, allowing you to participate in the conversation. But despite his immediate reaction, his voice lacked the same resolve when he spoke. Hey! It was tentative, with a white flag fluttering in the wind. True is here too. Hi. We've been worried about you.
Hey.
Hey, buddies. Terry's voice was barely recognizable without her usually quick patter and energy.
Are you okay?
Are things okay? I don't know. Probably not. Cove tensed, his free hand colliding into an anxious fist. Can you talk to us about what happened? Don't you already know? Miranda explained some of it, but it doesn't make sense to us. You heard Terry sigh over the phone as she unburdened herself. Pretty much, I was at Randy's house. We decided to watch some movies. She was super like that. That I've never seen before. Turns out there's a lot of those. We watched one, then another, and another. We were having so much fun. Each time one finished, she had another one to share with me. I didn't really think about the time. I only wanted to say yes to Randy and watch her movies. She spoke wistfully, but her words were full of affection. It was Randy, you know. I wasn't thinking about my schedule or what time it was. I get it. When I finally saw the time and, oh no, it was too late. I already knew I couldn't stay. She took a deep breath, her voice becoming softer, and she resumed talking. I was so stressed out. I just couldn't deal with it. Miranda had wanted to help. She kept coming up with ways to make it better and trying to figure out why I was so upset and stuff. I was trying to answer her questions, and there were so many. But I couldn't really answer all of them. I didn't even know why some of her ideas didn't work with me. It made my head ache. I still had the first problem and Randy there, trying to help, blasting all these questions and suggestions at me faster than I could even think. She gulped audibly, sniffing. I got frustrated and told her to just leave me alone, but then she wanted to talk about why I wanted that, and we started having a fight in the kitchen. I woke Randy's dad up. We told him about how I wanted to go home, but my parents couldn't get me, so Mr. Eckert offered to do it. That's nice of him. Terry groaned. I know. I accepted, because I definitely couldn't stay then, not after throwing a racket and turning it into a big deal. But I feel awful and embarrassed. Why did I yell at Randy and hurt her feelings? And I made her dad lose sleep by waking him up and having to drive me home. What do you say after that? I have no idea. I don't even know where to start. And I don't want to make it worse by saying the wrong thing and fighting again. So, I'm not talking. Not gonna lie, not talking is like the worst option you can pick. I know this game is all about making options. If that's the option, I'm probably not taking it. Keeping things silent is like the dumbest idea ever. Terry, Rennie isn't mad at you that you didn't want to stay or that you fought. She just wants to feel like you can talk to her. I mean, you can say whatever you want. She'll listen. Not talking to her at all is pretty much the only wrong way to go about it. Terry lamented mournfully on the other end of the line. But he had a point. Unless she faced Miranda again, there would be no resolution. He looked at Cove, hunched over the phone, staring pensively into it, and searching for a solution. This couldn't be solved, with the other key part missing. But what if you brought them in? Your phone was still free. Are we going to be mean and just call her, or let's just say we could call Miranda. I feel like saying it is better, but maybe Terry will get scared then. But it's nicer, because at least then she gets the choice. What if we call Miranda? That way you could talk to her, but wouldn't have to do it alone. Cove brightened up, the concerned furrow in his brow, which had taken root when Miranda called east.
Well,
that could work. Terry, are you up for it? She made a noise that wasn't a word, but it was nevertheless conveyed her hesitation and worry. But she brought it to a close with a decisive exclamation, as if pushing all the negative thought from her body. All right, I will do it. Cove nodded. Now that you had received approval from everyone, you pulled out your phone and called Miranda. You set it to speaker and waited for her to pick up. Luckily, she did.
Hi.
Hi, True. Her voice was still distant, as if her thoughts were elsewhere, but it was loud enough for your needs. Hi, you're on speaker. Terry is on speaker too, on Cove's phone. Oh. She paused while she digested this information. You watched the phone screen, hoping that she wouldn't hang up as a result.
Really?
Oh, really? Yep, it's me. Can you hear my voice all the way from your house to theirs and then mine? I can. You and Cove exchanged look, waiting for the wall between them to break and wondering who would be the one to do it. As the quiet dragged on, you caught Cove chewing his cheek. He must have waited up the same question as you. Whether to encourage the conversation along or leave Miranda and Terry to resolve it themselves. The answer came in the form of one sniff, followed by another, from Cove's phone. Sorry, Randy. I hope you still like me. What? You were the one acting as if you didn't like me? Her tone was defensive. No doubt the result of the ones from last night, still being raw.
What?
No way! Everyone likes Randy. You're wonderful. Your eyes met Cove's. His phone was tilted towards you, capturing the call indirectly. You moved your phone closer to his, hoping that the signal was strong enough to convey every nuance of tone. Cove did likewise, bringing his cell right next to yours, even bumping against it as he shifted his grip. I didn't know what to say. That's the only reason I couldn't talk to you. If I had known the answer, I would have told you right away. Miranda murmured on the other end of the line. You didn't want to stay. Anything I tried to do bothered you, and you could have told me you didn't know. Yeah, I think I was angry at myself. I did a dumb thing, and I didn't want to help. I didn't want help with it. I wanted to be mad and just deal with it myself. It made me keep doing dumb things. Oh. When she spoke again, her voice was quiet and as tender and vulnerable as the word.
I'm sorry.
Staying up late, watching all the stuff was my fault. I had to find a way to fix it. That's what I thought anyway. But I should have given you space. I'm sorry for being so pushy and sensitive. Look, that's how you fix problems. A healthy conversation. How nice. Hardly. Miranda echoed, having a flaw? I've never heard of such a crazy thing. Miranda let a ghost of a giggle. Cove cleared his throat. Maybe you should call each other now? Sorry.
Sure.
Can do. Thanks for giving me the kick in the butt to do this already. Randy Mandy, I'm gonna call you right now. Bye, True and Cove. She hung up and squeezing in another quick bye, though not giving you or Cove room to respond in kind. Miranda laughed, the noise tinkling gently like wind chimes in the summer breeze.
You're really nice.
Thank you for listening and helping. I'm going to hang up now so I can answer Carrie's call. Bye. Bye, and good luck. Bye. Talk to you soon. Miranda hung up, still chuckling softly as the call ended. The room felt emptier without the other voices in it. Cove expelled a sigh and crashed through the newly fallen silence. He dropped his arms to his side, letting his head hang down like a puppet at rest. Thank God. They shouldn't have evolved us in that. I'm so relieved it's okay. You're simply happy your friends had made up. Yeah, simply happy that friends made up. Scove scratched at his face, his expression cloudy. I think I need to find better ways of dealing with conflict, because that was awful. We could all probably do better at that. Cove meekly smiled as he rubbed at his eyes. Weariness creeped over him and mumbled his next words. We can talk about it another day. Conflict resolution methods?
Huh?
Oh, no, forget it. Your eyebrows rose, and then a light bulb went off in your head. Before Miranda called, didn't you say there was something you wanted to say? Cove's original visit had been thrown off the kilter, that it was a struggle to wind your memory back to when he first turned up. Now you did, though, you remembered that he had been perky when he'd arrived this afternoon. Was it good news? Cove brushed his hand against his now folded arms shyly. Well, yeah, maybe. I'm not exactly sure if it counts as news or even good. It's what it is, and I'm happy about it, though. You were curious, but you didn't want to push Cove if he didn't want to speak about it. You don't have to say anything, but if it makes you feel good, I think it's good news. Cove chuckled awkwardly, a hand creeping up to ruffle the hair on the back of his head. It's fine. If you want to hear it, I can tell you. He shifted on his feet, as if a different posture might give him the support he needed for the conversation. I didn't want to make it a big deal, but I I just know my sexuality is now. Oh! A really subject change, huh? He chuckled. True, it was unexpected, But you're excited that Cove had come to understand himself more, and glad he wanted to share that with you. That's great. Tell me more. Cove drew a breath, straightened up. I'm demisexual, so, most of the time I don't really have those kind of feelings, physical ones and stuff. It's only in some situations, when I'm already really emotional and romantically connected to someone, that I start to think about anything sexual, and it's only with them. I hadn't heard of the term until pretty recently, and it just made a lot more sense since I knew what it meant. I had a word for what that fit how I felt. I don't feel personally attacked, but before I identified as ace, I identified as pansexual because I didn't know the term ace. So, like, quite a lot of asexuals, by the way. I had the pipeline of being bi or pan to the realization, it's all the same attraction because everything is zero, when I found out what ace meant, and I just feel personally attacked by the story at this point. But like in a positive way. Love the story.
Yeah.
And I'm pan-romantic, because I've never had a preference for a specific gender or anything. So, yeah. That makes sense. Cove looked down at the floor, being so open and direct about a matter that personal, which you were sure he'd spend a long time trying to figure out, seemed to be kind of weird for him. Despite that, there was a small proud smile on his face, and when he looked up again, his gaze was steadfast. All this talk of Cove's sexuality make you reflect on your own. What did I forgot which one I put in. Probably still the same, right? I don't remember what I put in. So it's just the same, it's fine. We're just gonna go with it's fine, otherwise I will find out the hard way. Cove had known for years now. It was heartwarming that he had reached a point where he felt similarly capable of discussing his own. He felt even closer. You felt his tiredness deep in the marrow of your bones. It had been a tiring day. Now everything was neatly wrapped up for today, at least. And you had earned a rest. You'd had some good talks and come out of it not only knowing each other better, but yourself too.
Hey,
we should probably head downstairs soon if your moms are still wanting everyone to get together. Yeah, that's right. With a renewed spring in your step, you led the way out of your room. You got downstairs to find the others already assembled and waiting.
Hi.
Hello. Hey. Good to see you both.
Hey.
Here we were trying to corral everyone into a group, but the two of you were already upstairs this whole time. Of course we were together. You paid true to stick with me. Or did you forget? The statement was meaningless to your family, who looked to each other for an answer in vain. Mr. Holden, who got the message loud and clear, seemed embarrassed. He chuckled, nervously rubbing the back of his neck. Ouch, Sean. Always know when to remind me of that one. I can't let you live it down. Yet. Can we hear exactly what the secret is? The suspense is killing us.
Right.
Alright. I'd better get everyone up to speed. He held up his hands, palms out, pacifying his audience, or perhaps holding them up as a shield in advance. Yet probably the shield. In his situation, I would use it as a shield. That sounds like the better option. That first day I met True, I'd been worrying about Cove being alone for the summer.
Well,
there weren't a lot of kids around, and he wasn't exactly on the best terms with me at the time. I glanced around at your family, gauging their responses. I felt like this was my only shot, so I kind of offered them $20 to be friends with Cove, and added that they couldn't tell him about it. Liz gasped, while I was staring incredulously at Mr. Holden, while Mom's eyebrows had retreated to her hairline. You and Cove, already knowing this story, were the only ones unaffected. But after a while, I really did honestly forget it even happened. He raised his hands higher, now level with his shoulders. Not a bad idea, you thought. If Mom felt inclined to throw a cushion at him, he'd probably manage to block it in time. I know that's bad, but it's been many grand ideas over the year. It's hard to keep track of them all. Cove smiled, placing his hands on his hip and shaking his head at his father's antics.
Seriously?
I can't believe you, though. Also, I totally can. Your moms were less indulgent. The shock had ebbed away to displeasure. Mom's foot was tapping rapidly as she frowned at the next door neighbor, while Ma had her arms crossed at her chest and her lips pursed. I'm sorry, Drew, and I'm sorry to your parents too. That was way out of the bounds. Don't worry about it. Everything worked out. Your moms gave each other that look, where they seemed to be communicating with eyes alone. Alright, well, that's then. And it won't happen again.
Absolutely.
It definitely won't.
Alright.
Good. It was a little surprising that they were letting him off the hook, but on the other hand, it was a long time ago now, and you were sure your moms remembered those painful early days of Cove's arrival too. Mr. Holden wasn't a potential bad influence anymore, so a lecture would be pretty moot. Instead, your ma gave him a lenient smile.
In that case,
Now that's settled, why don't we find something to do? Nods of agreement cascaded through the group in a couple waves at the suggestion. Mr. Holden's shoulders slumped with a release of tension. He brought his hands down and tucked them away in his pocket. What about cards? There was a murmur of interest from the others. You were keen to play, we're fine with you. You'd play along with others. I would play along with others. I'm not really the one that picks the games or that kind of thing. Most of the group was eager to play, but Mr. Holden was the murmuring.
Nah.
I think I will sit this one out. Where's the fun in that? Join in. We're not too angry with you. Yes, I know there's a lot of people, but we can make it work. Mr. Holden shrunk into himself, embarrassed by their attention. Dad, you love playing cards. We do it all at our house all the time. Dad? Mr. Holden broke under the combined force of everyone's attention. Cove, you're an adult now, you deserve to know the truth. You dislike playing cards, don't you? I used to throw the card games so you could win. I put up a good fight, but I always made sure to lose a amount of rounds that I've won. He toyed with the end of his ponytail, clearly distressed at the second great secret he was revealing today. Oh, he's gonna get a cushion thrown at his head. I know people want to be taken seriously and fake wins don't mean as much, but I couldn't help myself. It's so much better when everyone else gets the chance to be victorious. Kiara knew and went along with it. Cove laughed in disbelief that this was a thing his dad stressed about hiding after the other stunts he'd pulled over the years. So what? Lots of parents do that. I hadn't guessed it, sure, though looking back, it makes sense. That's right. That's the big deal, Cliff. You can finally take the kid glove off and give them a run for their money. Maybe even actual money in your case. Mr. Holden smiled coyly, his gaze lowering. I'm not sure that's a good idea.
why?
And why not? He waved his hands expansively, the movement fluid and vague. It's just, actually, I am something of a card shark. I used to make lots of fast cash of games. Casual players don't have a shot unless it's a game of pure luck. Cove's jaw hung open, his eyes widened, fixed on his father. Really? There was a touch of amazement, even admiration nestled among the shock. The other members of the Hope family exchanged looks, ranging from Liz's disbelief to Mom's intrigue, with Ma somewhere in the middle between the two. That can't simply make a You can't simply make a claim like that and expect us to go along with it. Let's you back it up, Sharkman. Mr. Holden gave her a crooked smile. His demurrage quickly being replaced with the confidence of someone very skilled or very misguided. You sure about that? Definitely. We've got to see the so-called non-casual player in action. Well, I might be able to do it. Though, who knows? Maybe I've gotten rusty. His coyness continued to rile the gang up, and he was getting a kick out of it now.
Please?
Come on, please.
Alright.
Alright. I can dust off the old tricks. Great. Gove beamed at his father while Mom clapped Mr. Holden on the back. Liz started off to get a deck of cards while the rest of you settled in for the game. Hands were dueled. Mr. Holden wasted no time proving his words true. Wiping the floor with all of you. You've played several rounds, even switching games, but none of you were able to match him. That was how the alliance became forged. The rest of you joined forces against Mr. Holden, only just to try and increase the odds of beating him. With your combined efforts, you pulled out few victories, yet it was still a challenge. He was clearly a professional. If these were his skills now, rusty with disuse, how you couldn't even imagine what a deadly opponent he'd been in the past. Despite that, you still had fun. Working cooperatively actually fostered a sense of I already struggle with these words in Dutch, let alone English. Camaraderie with others. Mr. Holden didn't appear fazed by this strategy. You actually wondered whether this increased challenge made it more interesting for him. You spent the rest of the afternoon together, with your family and the Holdens having fun. It was an interesting evening for sure, with many discoveries for everyone. It was freeing, and yet simultaneously you felt more tied together than you had been before. Okay. And I think I will keep it at that. I've been streaming for a while, and I think that if I start the next one, the charity, that I'm gonna have to cut off mid-moment because my throat is starting to hurt. So I hope everyone enjoyed the stream. I do not know when the next stream will be, but it will be a lot quicker and there will be a lot less pauses in between, I hope. At least for a while. And I will see you next time. Bye bye!